I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite
podcast
on the Citadel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Accidentally Casual, a podcast that is like rhinestones falling from the sky. My name is Tucker from Talking About Games, and with me is my co-host Scott from BioWare Babylon.
What's up, nerds?
And Seeker, who's the community manager.
Yes.
Yes. And we are here to talk about the there's some news in video games going on.
Only a little bit.
There's some. Like, you know, Starfield. They showed 15 minutes like segment thing of it at the Xbox conference.
True. All right. Yeah, I was about to say it's
Seeker?
Sorry?
Sorry, we didn't hear you for a second.
Oh, okay, no, I'm here. I was just waiting. I thought you guys were going to jump in, but nope. I'm super hyped because, like I said, literally the Xbox Bethesda showcase just happened, and out of the fucking blue, they announced that they're porting Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal to Xbox and Windows, which was completely unexpected, and I couldn't believe it was actually happening. Bear in mind that the Persona series has been exclusive with Sony for a very long time, so like I said, I was completely... It was so funny because when he said, here's a new announcement from Atlas. Bear in mind, Atlas make the Persona games. So there's just this like, because I was paying attention to something else at the time, and then just in the back of my brain, there's just Atlas. Like, wait a sec, no, it can't be. And I turned around, and sure enough, it was the Persona announcement. So I am tremendously hyped with that. So
There is also Hideo Kojima, who is usually with Sony and stuff like that. He is doing a project with Xbox or with Microsoft.
Do we know what project is he doing?
All he said was that he's working on a project with Microsoft. That was it. Very much nothing was said.
I mean, it also doesn't help with Hideo Kojima that, like...
He said it could also be like a few years for the game or stuff. Like, all this was a confirmation on the rumors that Hideo Kojima is working on a game with Microsoft. That was it.
See, okay, hey, guy with a truck, can you not rev up your car right next to my window? That'd be great. Anyway,
vroom.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, because the worst part was with Hideo Kojima. His games are so out there that you just, like, there is no predicting what his game is going to be about. There's not even a point on trying.
How did Death Stranding end up? Like, I did not follow that game as much as I did when it was first, like, announced, because the trailers were kind of weird and creepy, and it was just kind of interesting. But then, after 3 years or something, I just stopped paying attention to it, and then it released, and I did not follow much of it. How did that game end up?
To be fair,
I mean, it was mostly a big old walking simulator with... I mean, there was a lot of interesting story aspects to it, but, I mean, like, the trailers and stuff like that we saw before the game released revealed so little of the plot, especially more on... I would almost call it the political side of it, because essentially it's... Like, the main story is essentially they're using this, like, I think it's called, like, the web network or something like that. They essentially tried to, like, reconnect America, more or less, after the apocalypse.
It's to me,
So
it's
like,
certain things
none of that was said in the trailers. So it's like...
Because it's certain, like you know how there's that gif from the show Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, which is... I know writers that use subtext and they're all cowards. That seems to be Hideo Kojima's entire writing strategy, because Norman Reedus' character is called Sam Porter Bridges. Bear in mind, he literally transports shit from one place to another, so he's literally a porter and he builds bridges. And his mum, who sends him on the mission, is called Bridget Bridges. It's just like, what? Like the names are just so. It's not even. It's sort of so bafflingly on point that it sort of bypasses any sort of nuance at all. But in this way that is uniquely Kojima at this point, so I can't even fault it for him anymore, because it's just like every single time I hear a Hideo Kojima name, like what is it, Hot Coldman from fucking Metal Gear Solid, I'm just like, I don't know what I fucking expected, but yeah, it's sort of the Arrested Development thing where it's like dead dove don't eat. And he looks inside it as a dead dove. It's just like, I don't know what I expected. So that's kind of my reaction for any Hideo Kojima related thing. But on other news that came the flying fuck out of nowhere, that was completely unexpected, was Netflix's Geek Week, where I was being asked to help in the kitchen by my lovely fiance. And I was like, okay, there's not going to be anything relevant to me being announced for the next couple of minutes. Went in, came back in, and I walk in to see the words Dragon Age Absolution on the screen, to which I just go, I had no other recourse, because I was just like, I don't know what's happening. All I know is that Dragon Age appeared on screen, because apparently I just have a curse now where the second I leave a room, they will announce a BioWare thing. Like, you know when they dropped the teaser for Mass Effect 4? Bear in mind that was very late for my time. So I was just like, oh, I've got work in the morning, I'm going to go to bed now. There's nothing else that's going to get announced. And then sure enough, suddenly I hear this, oh my god, they announced a Mass Effect thing. What do you mean they announced a Mass Effect thing? Like, that wasn't on the cards! And then, sure enough, I'm out of the room for 5 seconds. I walk in and there's a fucking Dragon Age thing. So, for those not in the Dragon Age Absolution is an animated Netflix series, because I thought initially it was a movie. Yeah?
We're only 7 minutes in. We were supposed to be talking about
other
stuff.
I was going to say.
I'm sorry. I can reel it back.
Great segment, but we're going to have to probably... Yeah, because I was about to say, let's remember, we got to give Tucker some airtime too.
Well, I mean, the specific timing doesn't matter. I would pull the segment at some point once I really start like phasing out, I guess, back to something. But so I do want to talk a little bit about Starfield.
Yeah, I was about to say. So Tucker, you talked about introduce Starfield a little bit.
Yeah, and then there's like no talk from Seeker, so I was like, "Are you there?" Like,
okay. So, yeah, Tucker, you talked about, you introduced Starfield to us, and there was about 15 minutes.
Have you seen it?
No, I actually haven't yet.
So,
this is what happens when you study for the GRE, right? Well, and you're
That's not as important as video games. So, did you play Fallout 4?
No. I'm familiar with it enough,
cool. So, in Fallout 4, something that they added or expanded upon with some of the prior games is you could build settlements. Like, you could not fully, but you were given objects, like different types of walls, doors, things like that, some prefabs, and you can make your own settlements. This seems like you can build your own outposts, but, like, detailed. It almost looked like it was a game engine that they were taking apart the buildings and customizing the way it works.
It did sort of remind me of like the Andromeda Initiative, at least like what I thought.
It's what we wanted it to be.
The Andromeda Initiative was going to be like.
They said that you'll be able to have some outposts have different themes. Like, again, what Andromeda had for the very first one that you did, but then jack shit for all the rest.
Yep.
This seems like you'll be able to just customize your own bases like that. And your ship, too, will be fully customizable, both outside and inside, too, and who your crewmates are. and all that kind of stuff. There will be flying and space combat in the game, as well as exploring planets that,
Yeah, you
again,
can also
get
design your
to-
own ship.
Yeah, there'll be full
And
ship
fly it.
customization.
Yeah.
And
So-
the character customization, too, looks incredibly detailed. And Todd Howard said that there'll be, like, you will be able to explore pretty much every planet in all of the solar systems in the game, which will be about 1,000 different planets that you'll be able to go to.
Okay, so we're going to be able to explore 20. Cool.
Yeah, no, like, I am ready for my heart to be completely broken with expectations again, but
I have no
I mean,
expectations for Bethesda
so-
anymore.
I actually have a question, though, for Starfield. There have been a lot of talks for Bethesda for a long time that they were going to either upgrade their game engine or get a brand new one.
oh,
The,
this
the
looks
engine
upgraded.
is definitely upgraded. However,
Oh, absolutely.
there are a lot of like game design / UI things that I'm like, wow, really?
Oh, you'll likely
Really?
be able to customize that or turn some of that stuff off.
Yeah,
I
some
did
of it
see-
off, but like put it this way, the whole it's instantly recognizable as a Bethesda game because it seems to play pretty much identically to how Fallout and Skyrim play, minus I don't think they showed any VATS thing that I saw, or VATS akin, so anything akin
Well, that's
to VATS.
Fallout.
No, I'm saying akin to it, anything comparable
I don't
to
think
it.
Skyrim or Elder Scrolls had anything akin to that.
No, but I'm just saying that there's two very, very prominent franchises that Bethesda, develops, and VATS was one of the things one of the core components for Fallout. Bear in mind that Starfield is going to be sci-fi, and the closest franchise they had to sci-fi was Fallout. Is that fair comparison to make? So
Well, yeah, but that doesn't imply gameplay.
Yeah.
no, it doesn't. But I'm also saying that they made the VATS system. It's popular. They may have
Yeah,
implemented
yeah.
it, but I couldn't see anything that said there was. There was also a thing at one point called a Brogan. And I was like, did you just rip off the Krogan and put a B on the front? Like, just...
Well, what was the... I don't remember. What was that?
It was
What
like an enemy type that was called like a Brogan. I swear that was a thing. I was trying to find it again, but I couldn't see it. So
It's
that
what
might have
happens
been my
when,
imagination.
Watch,
but
they
yeah.
don't look like toads. They look like frogs. It's like...
It's what happens when Krogans join a fraternity. They become Brogans. So they're just running around Delta
Brogan,
Phi and then,
Brogan.
like, telling everyone to Zamboni their drinks and shit after they've spilled them.
I love it.
That's all Brogan are.
I mean, I think I was kind of able to tell that Starfield was a Bethesda game because the first little critter that they showed, it was this little like it looked like a horseshoe crab type of thing, or like that Pokemon that looks like a horseshoe crab.
Yeah.
Not to mention that the
waddling
little
around at
robot
the
you
end-
walk out in.
Oh, well, no. The little critter, he had a weird moving animation. Or that may have just been me, but it honestly looked like he didn't have legs moving. He was just shaking, and the vibration was moving him. And I'm like, Bethesda.
Not to mention that the little robot you walk out of your ship in at the beginning is already clipping through the ramp of your ship. So I was like, definitely Bethesda. Like literally in the
I'm excited, though.
The
See,
reveal
that actually,
footage. It
I
also
will admit,
looks...
that actually makes me feel better. Because...
Well, we weren't
What-
expecting to see NPCs floating around in a fucking reveal
I mean, true.
trailer.
I mean, true, but, like, the reason why that makes me feel a little bit better is because a lot of the time... Granted, you're not... This is being phased out, which I think is a good thing, is... They're showing the actual progress of the game versus them just trying to, like, make... trying to... Oh, we're going to make this game look super... this essentially demo for the game. We're going to make it look super polished, look super good, and, the stuff that's going to be in that, half of it's not even going to be in the final game, and they've already made that conscious decision
they
months
said
in
1,000
advance.
planets. There's not going to be 1,000 planets.
Oh yeah, there's no way. Yeah, Todd
I
Howard
can't
is...
wait. Like I'm putting my bet in now for I'm betting a full American dollar that this might compete with Cyberpunk for the buggiest thing on release. This is just my going by Bethesda's usual track record of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but unlike Cyberpunk, this game looks like
I'm
it
not.
has customization.
I'm
which
not
may
defending
throw it way
Cyberpunk.
above
I'm
other
just
things.
saying that it might compete with it for the buggiest thing on launch.
Well,
yeah.
I was just saying that this game actually allows customization, so that's
I mean, that's true. I just
Cyberpunk didn't.
Yeah.
As disheartening as it was.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, at least if they show works in progress, of like, yeah, no, for this demo, we don't really... Yes, we are in a stage of development where we don't care that the ramp is clipping through, like, 6 inches into the ground.
Even, like, the guns seemed very, like...
Yeah. It's...
mid-thousands. And also, like, in the first area, I think it was called Crete, the planet, it was just like, well, that looks like a wasteland with some, like, a few creepy crawlies in it and pretty much nothing else. Then they went to another planet that looked, for my money, at least comparable to, like, the Andromeda Initiative. That was apparently, like, the capital city or something. And I was like,
Atlantis.
alright. Yeah, New Atlantis.
Which, I like that name. I actually think that's a cool name.
Mm-hmm.
I just, yeah.
Well, because it's not Atlantis, which, like, you know, using the mythology thing of it, but it's still using the implication of what Atlantis is, or what it means to us as, like, a society, cultural type of thing.
Yeah.
I was
Out in
intrigued
space
by
as...
the sun being Alpha Centauri, so I'm just like, okay, we know things about Alpha Centauri. Okay. Not I don't know anything about Alpha Centauri. I'm just saying that, you know, I'm sure people will infer things by the fact that it's Alpha Centauri is the sun. But yeah, there was other planets and they looked reasonably prettier, but also when we've had No Man's Sky go from what it was to what it is now, I was just like, this seems kind of like you know, you could have done something a bit, at least for the environments they showed, they could have something a bit more obviously alien, like a lot of like jungles, landscapes, deserts, that kind of thing. And I was just like,
oh, well, there was near the end of one of the segments, there was just like a bunch of different planets.
I know, but I was like, none of them looked like really, like, let's be brutally honest, if you had said like, oh, that was Earth in a particular biome with no humans on it, would you be surprised by any of them?
Well, I mean, what do you expect other planets to be? Because wouldn't
More
they have their
interesting,
own...
Tucker. They're alien planets in a fictional context.
Well, yes, but I mean, in a type of sense, there would still be other planets and other things that would have similar fauna to what we have. Like, it doesn't...
I know, but like,
it's
I'm
not like they're
going
going to go to a planet next door and it's going to look like Dr. Seuss.
I'm not expecting it to make like scientific sense within reason. I'm like, at least with Avatar, James Cameron had the sense like, this is an alien planet, I'm gonna make it look alien with like some bioluminescent shit and some funky trees and some blue cat people, you know, just something, please. I'm asking for some, you know, if you want to go exploring the galaxy and make me want to explore 1,000 different worlds, which definitely won't be in the fucking game, but like 1,000 different worlds, you need to make me more compelled to be like, oh, there's instead of, if I've just passed 10 rocks that are all reasonably similar to Earth, I don't want the next one to be reasonably similar to Earth just because it's more scientific that way. No, show me.
It seemed like you were able to mine iron on some sort of planet, but that, I'm guessing, is just because that's an element that
iron is a very common element.
Here's the one thing, and this is a little bit of a conspiracy theory I have, is
okay.
if they are trying to show... My best guess is what they're doing right now
Todd Howard's working with NASA.
I mean...
Area 51.
I wasn't going that type of conspiracy theory, but you know what? That's better than anything I had.
They are implementing this game to get the masses comfortable with what alien life looks like, so then next year when they actually drop the Pentagon information,
we're
boom.
ready to fuck them, because
yes.
BioWare fans have one fucking thing, and it is, can we fuck the aliens? So yeah, we have been prepared, okay? I am so sorry, Scott. What was your conspiracy theory after Tucker decided to go way off the rails?
To our listeners, I officially regret using the word conspiracy Just stating that for the official record now. Anywho.
Yeah, we like to use objective fact.
Anyway, so my little conspiracy theory is the fact that from kind of what I've been hearing, and at this point, Bethesda's very aware of their glitchy reputation. My best guess is what we're going to see is like the planets are going to look bland as hell at first. Gameplay, there's going to be a lot of we're going to see a lot of glitches and things like that. As we get closer and closer, they are going to try to polish it more and more, and they're going to show that in the advertising. So we're going to start seeing the worlds are going to look a little bit more vibrant and things like that. Just so then they can hopefully either temper expectations on and kind of better depict, hey, this is what this is what y'all are getting, here we go. Or if it's more of a, it's either something like that, or maybe, trying to not trying to promise for the moon. Because, I mean,
even though it's literally the point.
Yeah. Well, and some of it is also I'm hoping Todd Howard at this point has actually learned a little bit of and granted, there are some game devs, especially there, where they will announce shit that they just want to do. Ooh, not run it by anyone and announce it, and then you have the rest of the dev team just going, oh, for fuck's sake, now we actually have to implement this because this has been said out in public. I would not be surprised if that's what Todd Howard does. I will not be surprised if Microsoft, both Microsoft and the Bethesda PR teams have gone in and been like, Todd, baby, if you do this shit again, so help me God, we will retire you to the Bahamas because you make our lives miserable. So I'm hoping that they've learned their lessons and are trying to be reflective of that, or at least show that they're being reflective of that. Because if they just show the same shit, if they just do the same shit and it's still the same fucking buggy mess, then I'm gonna be a little disappointed in.
Someone describe Starfield as No Man's Sky with all the colours removed.
Ouch!
But a colorful game that was also shown was High on Life. That game, when it started out, and it was one of the people that voices with Rick and Morty, they've had a few games and a few shows and stuff like that, but they all kind of been using the same voice. So I was a little turned off when it was starting out. Just seemed like this was going to be another one of those things in the same vein. Like this game was going to be in the same vein as some of the other stuff they've made. And the humor and the audio stuff feels like it is. But the gameplay, I really like what the story looks to be. All of your weapons are sentient animals or beings or something like that actually talk to you and everything like that. And the first gun that you have is we need to go out and find my friends, and the friends are other guns, and they have all different personalities, and they one of them fires these blue ball critters that jump onto enemies. It's extremely colorful. It's high on life. The game looks like an acid trip.
Nice. Okay.
When the trailer started, I was turned off, but then because I was watching the live stream, so watched through the entire trailer, at the end of it, it was like, okay, no, I'm going to play this when it goes on Game Pass. Because the idea with the way that the weapons are all these different people is it's really cool. It fits the way that the visualization that they have for the game and everything.
Okay, awesome. What other stuff did you find interesting? there was like what, 4 different showcases in the last
3.
Like,
So
3 in the last 48 hours.
So we had the State of Play last week. We had Summer Game Fest. We had Netflix Geeked Week. Bear in mind because they are now getting into games. Funniest one for me was, we're announcing a game based off of the Queen's Gambit. So I was just like, so chess with a story mode, and it was chess with a story mode. So I was just like, okay, I mean, sure. Also, Spiritfarer is coming to Netflix Gaming, which I highly recommend. It's a very lovely, sweet game about death and dying,
Mm-hmm.
and because you ferry the spirits from the life they had before to what goes beyond, and you don't get to see beyond until you go yourself, but you help them resolve their unfinished business, as it were, whilst it being this beautiful, lovely game where you can like craft things and make things and give presents to all your little friends, and it's like a big old warm hug whilst also dealing with some very weighty topics. And so that was if it gets anyone to play it who hasn't already, I highly encourage you to pick up Spiritfarer off Netflix if you haven't played it already.
Okay.
There was another vampire game called Redfall.
Yeah, they announced that a
Which
while back though, so I'm not.
Well, I was not, again, kind of like high on life, but I was unsure with it. But also, with all of these on Game Pass, I am just pretty much going to try them out. But it seems like it would be interesting type of gameplay. Like, it seems like a combination of Borderlands and Left 4 Dead,
With
but
Vampire the
in an open
Masquerade
world.
lore.
Yeah.
I'm just because here's the thing, because the people making Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, which was the thing I was the most hyped about beyond like the Dragon Age Mass Effect stuff, because they got all like loads of the original team back, and then it was like, oh, it's delayed. It's like, oh, it's okay, it's delayed. Delays happen, that's fine. And then it was like they just started like fucking hemorrhaging people, like severely. Like all the original team that came back is like, oh, they're gone now. And the current state of it is, oh, it's currently being given to other devs to make. So it's like, what the fuck went down there? So at the moment, the only kind of one of the only vampire things I kind of want to hear, Vampire the Masquerade things I want to hear about is that. Although Swan Song just came out, which was very much like the Council, or an old school like almost like a Telltale style game. Where you play 3 distinct characters and you've got to walk them through their storyline and investigate a mystery. And that seemed very cool. I was watching a bit of a Let's Play of it, and I was like, no, I want to hold off and play it myself, but I haven't got around to it yet because I'm busy. But
There was one game shown at the showcase that was like medieval, very stylistic, almost looked like a medieval painting that you were playing. I can't remember what that game was called, but that was also kind of like a story-based Telltale kind of thing. Seemed like.
we also got an update on Stray, which I really want to play when it comes out, because I'm a little kitty in like a robot land. Meow, 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 meow. And it's just like, I want to be a little kitty. I want to curl up in a ball, and I want to do things. But yeah, do little kitty things. Other than that, there wasn't too. I'm just having a quick.
There was a game called Cocoon that was shown that was from the people that made Limbo and Inside, both of which I thought were just amazing.
The one thing that came out of left field for me was it's like a fort. What is it? Fort something. Fort something. But it's got Joy Baker is the lead actor, but it also has Roger Clark, who was Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Mind.
And I am always there
that's
for Roger Clark, because I was just like, oh, okay, Roger Clark, I will totally show up for that. But what was it called? Fort Solace, that's what it's called. So it's like, oh, you're a outpost on Mars, and it's like horror-y based. There was like so much like space horror revealed at SFG. God, can't talk today. Yeah, it was like, well, can we have one game that isn't set in space? Although Callisto Protocol, I'm very hyped for, all things considered, because that's the original creator of Dead Space. It's going to be a lot of fun.
The trailer gave off very much Dead Space vibes. As well as actually the Dead Space remake I think it got announced for the end of this year?
No, it's beginning of next year, I think.
Oh, and it's the Callisto Protocol that's
back,
end of this year.
Yeah. The Callisto Protocol's like October-ish, I think. Or November.
And
it's
then,
November or
Dead
October.
Space may be February.
Yeah.
But oof.
And also, the other thing that I was hyped for was Midnight Suns, because that looks great, and you get to create your own Marvel hero and go interact with all the other Marvel characters. And they got Yuri Lowenthal to come back as Spidey. And I'm just asking the universe out there in general to just please leave Wanda alone. Can we just leave Wanda alone, please? She's been through a lot. Can we just let her be happy for like 5 goddamn minutes?
Honestly, if a few of the Avengers did like a wellness check on her, just
it would have been a lot different.
Or something.
Speaking of like MCU stuff, did you hear the other thing they announced this morning? That they're they're bringing also not Marvel, but they're bringing out an extended edition of Spider-Man No Way Home, and that's coming into theaters. And this is totally not Sony trying to recap some money after putting Morbius into theaters for a second time, and it also failing hard. I had to laugh at the petition to be like, oh, we were all busy that weekend. If you put Morbius into theaters for a third time, we'll totally be there. So, yeah. No. I was tremendously amused by that.
So, with that, a little bit enough of that, though. Since the last recording, there have been 2 huge, probably the biggest Dragon Age things to be announced.
Yeah.
Since practically 2018. First one is, we know what the next title of the fucking Dragon Age 4 is going to be. Dragon Age Dreadwolf.
Yeah.
So is it Dragon Age 4 Dreadwolf, or is it just...
No, it's just Dragon Age Dreadwolf. And the thing that weirded me out was, hilariously, now we have all sorts of Daddy Solus memes going around, which is tremendous. Send me all the memes, because I love them. But also, the thing that bewildered me was that it's apparently Dreadwolf one word?
Yeah,
why?
I think sometimes they can, like... Sometimes you can have them separately, where it's like, if it's the title of, like, either a title of a person or a game, sometimes they'll just put it as one word. Yeah, but it's
never been one word before. Whenever they've written Dreadwolf, it has always been 2 separate words. So the idea of it being a title, Dreadwolf, all one word, is just weird to me. Some people also pointed out that it's... sorry, I'll let you finish.
I was about to say, I don't really care too much about that, because, oh no, all I have to do is go into all the marketing that we've had for Dreadwolf and just hit space. Now all the grammar nerds are done. Woo.
I know. It's just
like,
someone
it's
also pointed out.
It's a weird thing, but it's like, if BioWare wants to change it real fast, that's going to be such an easy change. You just hit space, boom, done. Everyone shuts up.
I know it's so pedantic, but because otherwise I'm not opposed to the name. I was just thinking, Dreadwolf, like, it wasn't necessarily what I thought they were going to go with, but we have DAD now, so everyone's hyped for DAD. Daddy Solus, because we know it's going to be Solus, so okay. And considering we know it's going to involve Solus and it's taking place in Devinter, and we have the Netflix Geek Tweak thing of Dragon Age Absolution, which is also taking place in Devinter, which is also a series, I would bet dollars to donuts that Fenris and Solus are toning up in both, because there's literally no reason for them not to be there.
I think Fenris is more likely to show up in Absolution. I just have
And
kind of
in DAD. If they don't put him back in DAD, I am going to get very, very irritated.
Yeah. Oh, but and that was the other announcement is, like, okay. So, can I actually tell you guys a fun fact that I learned recently?
Uh-huh.
So, for anyone, Mark Dura, he used to be one of the top executives at BioWare.
Oh, yes.
He retired a few years ago. He has a YouTube channel. It's called Old Gaming Advice. One, if you're just BioWare nerd, go fucking subscribe to his channel. Watch his shit.
He has been
If
spilling
you are
all the
also
tea.
just, if you want to know actually how the game industry works, not what certain content creators, I'm not going to name drop people, but how some content creators think the gaming industry works, no. How actual game dev works, go follow his channel. But he will drop, especially on live streams, he will drop some fucking giant ass golden nuggets. And he will just say them off the cuff, just out of the blue, and it's amazing. One that totally caught me off guard was, so I did actually watch Game Fest, and I watched it live on his channel. And when I was watching it before the show started, and I might be able to post a link to when this was, he actually dropped the reason why Dragon Age 4 was announced all the way back in 2018. There are two reasons. First one was EA didn't have anything. They had put in a time, essentially a slot for something to be announced during the show, but they didn't have anything. So BioWare just kind of kicked up and said, "Hey, we'll fill in the gap. We'll announce something there." If anyone has paid attention to BioWare history, this happens a lot with BioWare, where if there's either a gap in a fiscal year, or if there's any sort of gap and stuff like that, usually BioWare will try to fill in that gap. That's famously kind of how Dragon Age 2 started. The other big reason was because, to quote Mark Dura directly, it was so and then, and Dragon Age 4 would be less likely to be cancelled.
That is good.
Which,
with
which
EA
I will say though, a lot of people kind of hear that and interpret that as, oh, there's a high likelihood that would happen. No, I don't think that's how the right interpretation for it. It's more than likely. It wasn't likely the game was just going to be flat out canned like how Anthem 2.0 was. I think it was just more of a, we just want to make sure just in case. So I think it was a lot, just a extra safeguard to make sure that essentially Dragon Age 4 would get the development time that it needed. Seeker, what were you about to say?
I was just going to say that EA already came out and said that they were planning for the next Dragon Age game to be a live service thing until Jedi Fallen Order apparently showed them that single-player games can still be wildly successful. And I was just like, wow, I never thought I'd be blessedly grateful to Jedi Fallen Order, but here we go.
Yeah. I think my conspiracy theory on why they dropped, again, don't say conspiracy theory around you guys. Don't do that.
Why am I getting roped into this?
So my conspiracy theory on why they actually dropped, they dropped the live service elements. One was Anthem 2.0. And so my best guess on what happened was leading up, so Anthem, Anthem kind of went down the shitter, and they were working on Anthem 2.0, and they had actually made a lot of progress. If you look through, Christian Daly no longer works at BioWare anymore, but if you look at his old BioWare blogs, you actually got to see progress on what they were doing. My best guess what happened was when the pandemic happened, before the pandemic hit, their plan was originally get Anthem 2.0 out, Dragon Age 4. Well, sorry, it was going to be Anthem 2.0, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Dragon Age 4, and then Mass Effect 4 or 5, depending on your point of view.
And that is the saving grace.
That's what I think was their...
Yeah.
That's what I think their original release schedule was. And I think what happened was when the pandemic hit, and they had to go all virtual for a while, which, I mean, when you have to do that, doing that's going to kill your productivity. Granted, they've figured out the system now, and I think they're going to be much better off for it. If you especially read into a lot of the stuff that they talked about, where now they've increased their capability to have a larger pool of people, especially now that they're letting people work remote. I think what happened was, though, they looked at that initial block, realized that all their projects are going to be delayed by a certain amount. And they looked at Anthem 2.0 and went, there is no way that we can get all 4 of these games released with roughly within... Yeah, there's just no way, like, 2.0 is going to take X amount of time. Great, okay, well, that's going to cut into the time for the Legendary Edition, which, at the time, BioWare and EA were thinking was somewhat of a gamble, and then they fucking hit it out of the park.
I don't even know how that was supposedly a gamble. Like, it's been the one thing that everyone's like, please just do this thing. Please do the thing. Please do the thing. And, yeah.
I didn't say how dumb of a gamble it was.
I know. I'm just saying, who... I want the names of the people involved who did think it was a gamble. Either way, sorry, you continue.
What happened was, that's going to cut into the small amount of development time that Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition, has. Okay, well, that's also going to probably cut into Dragon Age 4, which has gone through a lot of development hell it is. And I think what happened was they looked at, both EA and BioWare kind of looked at, okay, we have a lot of stuff, but, like, we have a lot going on in live service. Like, they've shown that they can handle live service games. Look at SWTOR. Like, it's one of the largest MMOs out there. And I think what happened was essentially they went, okay, with this pandemic, with the delays and things like that, we either can split our manpower going into all live serve, half doing live service stuff, the other half doing what is essentially single player stuff. And then also we're splitting off and also outsourcing for the Legendary Edition. What happened was they just went, look, we either split our resources and totally fuck up our timetable, or we essentially cut live services. Which pretty much means all of Anthem 2.0 got canned. And then we've pretty much moved all that personnel to the single-player aspects for both the Legendary Edition, Dragon Age, and Mass Effect. So then we can keep them at least on the same timetable. That's what I think what actually happened. I don't think it was EA just coming in and giving them the axe. I think it was a far more of a discussion on both ends of, like, okay, what is the best way to approach what is essentially going to be the next 3 or 4 years of game development. And that's what I think what they went with.
There's nothing to really say one way or the other, but that's totally a legit thing that could have Could have
Unless
been the way it went
Mark
down.
Dura wants to come and prove or deny my theory, which if he's watching, please do. That would be greatly appreciated. Or if any other Bioware dev can confirm or deny such things, that would be great.
We would love to pick your brain.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, with Dragon Age Dreadwolf, they released it. They released an image that's purple, which some people really liked it, some people didn't. If you really want to be nitpicky, there are little details you can get in the background, but, I mean, that's literally it for Dreadwolf. That's all there is to it. We got a shit ton more stuff, though, for Dragon Age Absolution, which, I'm gonna be honest,
Also set into
totally
winter.
caught me off guard, because there had been rumors that there was gonna be a Dragon Age TV show for a while.
And we never thought we'd get it. Like,
Oh, no, I thought that... Look, I thought that was going to be, like, on gaming websites that's their easy, like, not troll, but, like, their easy clickbait shit that, you know...
people want,
gets a bunch of
but
views and
it's
stuff
never
like
going
that.
to fucking happen. And
Yeah.
sure enough, holy shit, it's
So-
actually happening.
Well, not only that, not only did we get the announcement that, oh, this show exists, we have a fucking trailer, and it's coming out in December.
The trailer's coming out in December?
No, like, we've got a trailer, and the show is coming out in December. Like, that's only 6...
Of the Game Awards, where it's quite likely that they are going to be announcing something. That, like, put it this way.
Oh,
If they have a finale, and it's around the time of the Game Awards, that's going to be prime Dragon Age real estate to just announce something.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you have D4 Day D4 Day. My thing is, though, I think what may be a better indicator on when they're going to announce shit is going to be how many episodes there are and what's the release schedule. Knowing...
The cast yet, which I think is very noticeable, because usually they're like, oh, and some of the cast are here, but the fact that there's nothing currently is just like, interesting.
I mean, it's still 6 months out. They're still probably polishing up a few of the episodes. My best guess on when we'll actually see stuff get released, it depends on how many episodes they release and how they release them. My best guess is there's probably going to be 4 episodes.
No, I think 6. Also, did you
Six
get
me-
did you
six-
get Legends of Vox Machina vibes off of it, or is that just me?
Oh no, 100%. I see it as a combination. The animation style is Dragon Prince meets Prince means Legends of Vox Machina. I don't think it's going to be as bloody and gory as Legends of Vox Machina, but I also don't think it's going to be as, like, child-friendly.
No,
As,
there's got to be some quiz. There's got to be some, gay sex in it.
Yeah.
It's not Dragon Age if it's not.
Yeah, I think they'll make it adult in other ways. But it's like, I don't expect it to be too gory, because not from they're trying to be prude and stuff like that. No, BioWare has never shied away from that. It's doing gore from an animation standpoint's expensive as shit. And yeah,
As I said, we'll see how the actually how it goes down. But I'm very intrigued. I just found a quote. I'm not quite sure who it's from, but it's on the Polygon article for it. It says, Absolution promises an ensemble, a quote, ensemble of new characters inspired by and authentic to Dragon Age lore, including elves, mages, knights, Kunari, Red Templars, demons, and other special surprises. Casting for the series has not been announced. So, in collaboration with Red Dog Culture House that did Witch of the Nightmare of the Wolf. I was thinking that was very similar to that, which is also very good.
I need to look at what's up, because they also did Love, Death, and Robots, which Love, Death, and Robots, for people who don't know, is generally, it's meant to be essentially a showcase of the best animation out there. And the fact that they have been on there for 2 seasons really says a lot. Like, this is a pretty top-tier animation studio. I have a sneaky suspicion this may be more of a because they haven't done too many shows. I think this may be either their business model is no, we do essentially short series instead of having like one major series that we work on. But if not, I'm hoping that this is a series that puts them on the map. But I'm excited for them. I am curious about what characters they choose. I'm hoping they bring some of the comic characters to life. Like, I would love to see Vea,
I had a bit of a
those two characters. If you know the Dragon Age comics, especially Knight's Errand's Deception, Blue Wraith, and Dark Fortress.
Considering that Lyrium idol seems to be the number one ticket of like, oh, a certain Dreadwolf man really wants that Lyrium idol for some reason, which is like, but why though? Because the reason it was significant in 2 was because, oh, it's Red Lyrium, but now we know Red Lyrium is Blighted Lyrium because Lyrium is alive, but he has access to, like, Red Lyrium's fucking everywhere now. So why would the Lyrium idol be of interest to him? So it's just like, why? I need to know. But some people were saying, like, you know, there's the sort of purple dude with the many eyes. Some people say, oh, that's Solus, and I was like, I doubt, but considering he seems to be about 8 feet tall, the dude in the trailer for Absolution, with the many eyes, but he honestly seems to be sort of mid-transformation to a pride demon, for my money, but that's just me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He definitely looks like that for sure, which, I mean, there are some people who are thinking that, like, is Solus some
a pride demon because his name means pride. I think that's a bit too on the nose, personally, but yeah. Yeah.
So, like, I'm curious to see that. Like, I am very curious on more how it is going to relate to Dragon Age 4, because, like, so far, they're really, most of their stuff outside of the games, except for a handful of the books generally will more support the games. Like, the books will support the games. There's really only one that didn't. The comics have very much told their own story. I'm curious to see where they take this. I would not be surprised if this is more of a, hey, this is meant to be an introduction to less of, like, our first introduction really diving into Tevinter, because Tevinter Nights technically was our first, but 1, it was in a book, and 2, they also covered Antiva, Navarra, the Anderfells.
Considering I didn't quite realise how close Weissapt is to the Tevinter Empire, I was like, oh shit, there's no way we're not seeing Weissapt.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and especially, oh god, what is the name of the book? It's one of my favorite. Well,
wait,
it's not one of the best in the Dragon Age series. It's the one that takes place during, like, the second or third Blight.
Oh,
what is it called?
I'm blanking myself.
I run a YouTube channel where I do book.
I'm also a big fan, and I can't fucking remember it either. So yay!
Last Flight.
Yes,
it's
Dragon where they confirm that the Griffins aren't extinct. So
so it's like that's going to play a part in it. I'm curious to see how it relates, because I don't think it's going to be, oh, this is a direct tie to Dragon Age 4. I think this is
Here's
going to be...
Here's the thing, though, because with the rise of, like, the MCU and all that stuff, there's been a lot more, shall we say, companies have realised that if you do have synergy, that tends to pay off, at least with people getting invested, because if it feels disjointed, people will treat it as like a separate thing or a lesser thing. But if it's all connected and running on the same rules, then suddenly it's like, oh, because even the MCU doesn't run on you need to see everything. It just makes you feel like you want to see everything, just in case there was, like, a plot point or an interaction. You're just like, oh yeah, that would be cool. So the fact that Absolution is set in Tevinter does seem to be... There's also been a lot of focus lately in Dragon Age stuff of an Ouroboros, or an Ouroboros, depending on how you like to pronounce it. Like, there's that ring floating in the trailer, and I'm like, that's cropped up a lot. And considering you could consider the Ouroboros a metaphor for the entire state of Tevinter, as it seems, with it constantly trying to regurgitate the empires of old, but all it's doing is dooming itself to eat its own tail for eternity. So, yeah, I'm intrigued where that goes. There did seem to be some deep roadsy things going on, so I'm intrigued. Because, like, as far as the deep roads go, they go way up into Tevinter as well, don't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
yeah, because I was going to say, they've got to be, like...
As
yeah.
In the world, for most of Thedas, the deep roads, like, granted, a lot of the deep roads are blocked off and things like that. But... like, they pretty much expand all over Thedas, more or less. And how extensive that is...
I couldn't remember if there was, like, specifically said, like, oh, yeah, they stop at Tevinter. And I was like, there's no reason they'd stop at Tevinter. It's just that, you know, people are just like, okay, Tevinter is here, let's not go any further because, you know, if we come out in Tevinter, that's going to cause problems for us. So that makes a lot more sense. But... yeah, so basically, we know there's a whole heap of people operating in Tevinter, trying to coordinate inside Tevinter, and if some of them did not appear in DAD or Absolution. And my one bugbear with Absolution so far, it's nothing to do with like the animation, everything looks great so far, it's the name. Because it's DAA, and we already have a DAA, which is Awakening. So now I have to specify that I'm talking about Absolution instead of just going DAA. Because it's just like you guys couldn't have picked another letter or anything at all. But that is just like, you know, my biggest nitpick of everything. Everything else looks fine. The one thing I was intrigued by was the we didn't get too good a look at the, considering she's on the poster, what appears to be the main character, which is sort of a brown-skinned elf with a knife and a tattoo on her face, and someone brought up like, oh, she's got Valasleen, she must be Dalish. I was like, that's not Valasleen though. If anything, that reminds me of Zevran's crow tattoos, or at least, you know, it's on the face. It sort of seems more similar. I know it's not identical, but it seems more in that vein than it does, you know, Valasleen or anything of that ilk. So I'm thinking maybe she's a reformed crow. Also, the fact that she's got blue cloak that's suspiciously similar to the Grey Warden blue also intrigues me, especially with the combined Deep Roads shenanigans.
Yeah, I was about to say, even for if you deep dive into the trailer for Dragon, there's not too much we can get from it. I am excited to have them release more information, but I think at this point it's more of a, we gonna have to sit and wait, which is what the Dragon Age community's been doing since like 2015.
Well, I don't know if it's specifically going to be with Dragon Age or any other BioWare thing, but there are more... Microsoft has said that they have more announcements later this week, or later next week, so there may be more announcements, because E3 is done, I think.
No, E3 isn't happening this
like
year.
E3's,
so.
yeah, like that's what I meant by done in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it seems like companies are just kind of announcing.
Yeah, just
things.
having like state of plays dropping just fucking whenever.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So there's still some time.
Yeah, there's
well,
time.
and also that means that there's, I think, kind of one of the best things for the Dragon. You know, I would just say for the BioWare community in general, is, you know, there's not much we can do. I mean, support your, you know,
especially it's like, holy shit, we have like a time window. We have a thing to look forward to that isn't just like in the future sometime maybe. It's happening this year, which is, Christ, when was the last time we could say, oh, it's happening this year, a Dragon Age thing?
Or the fact that we don't for a fact we are getting more news and things like that. you know.
One thing I will mention about Blue Wraith very, very quickly is I had a tweet about it earlier because I managed to find Blue Wraith and I was looking at some of the panels and I was just like, what happened to Fenris's eyebrows? And also, why are his eyes the wrong colour? And then I got to the bit where there's a bit of a flashback with him as Leto, and I was like, wait, why the fuck is he blonde? Fenris is dark-skinned. Why is he blonde? And it was quite amusing to me because I put this out on Twitter. Bear in mind, like, Fenris in-game is only a few shades lighter than Isabella, who is, you know, obviously canonically dark-skinned Rivaini lady. And she gets to stay consistently that colour, whereas Fenris's skin tone seems to have been lightened for Blue Wraith. And I don't know why this seems to be a consistent thing with Dragon Age, especially as when Briala and Fiona both appeared in books beforehand, they were described as dark-skinned, and then they appeared in Dragon Age Inquisition, and suddenly they were, like, considerably more light-skinned than people were certainly anticipating they were being. Like, why is this a thing? And suddenly I was just having a bit of an existential crisis about, like, what the fuck, BioWare? Why do you keep giving your dark-skinned elves lighter skin tones? This is just so annoying. But yeah, other than that, I'm pretty happy with the Dragon Age stuff so far as like Absolution goes, and Dreadwolf is also apparently an anagram for Fade World. I'm not sure that means anything, but people are very fixated on that, especially when it was the whole it's one word thing came to play with the Dreadwolf. Yeah. I don't think Fade World necessarily means anything, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out. All right. Well, with that, I think that'll just wrap it up for today. Thank you guys for listening to us today. I hope you all have a wonderful day today. Hopefully, we'll get more BioWare news and shit like that later. But anyway, I've been Scott from BioWare Babbling. I got Tucker from Talking About Games, and Seeker, our wonderful, lovely, amazing community manager. So, I'll see you next time, you fucking nerds!
Nerds!
Okay, hey, guy with a truck, can you not rev up your car right next to my window? That'd be great. Anyway.
I'm in my mum's car. Broom, broom.